Hello, today we're going to solve a quadratic equation, and we're going to solve it using first by factoring and then the same quadratic equation using the formula, so you can decide on your own which way works better for you. Let's go to the first example. Here we have our quadratic equation. And how do we know it's an equation? Because I have a variable and this is equal to 0. So whenever if you have an expression with a variable and it's equal to something, even if that something is 0, that's an equation. So this is an equation. And then it's a quadratic equation because it is to the power of 2. So it's a quadratic equation, which means, by the way, that you will have two answers. Okay, one we'll call it x1 and the other one x2. So this is a quadratic equation. Solving this by factoring means that we're going to have to find here the factors of -10 that when I add them, I should get +3. So let's look here for factors of -10. At the beginning, we're not going to look at the sign. We're just going to do factors of 10. That will be 10 and 1 and 5 and 2. That's it. So now, this is in fact a -10. So if you think about it, the only way that if you multiply any two numbers, if you multiply A times B, the only way that you will have a negative answer is if one of your numbers, either A or B, are negative. One negative and the other one positive, or the other way around. This one positive and this one negative. That's the only way you will get a negative answer. So in these pairs, the only thing that can be happening here is that one of my numbers is negative and the other one is positive, because I have a -10 here. So having that in mind, one is positive and the other one is negative, which pair will work if when I add them, I should get +3? Think about it. Okay, yes. If I have +5 and -2, that will work. Let's check that. If I do the multiplication, 5 times -2, that would be -10. And that's perfect because I need it to be -10 here. And if I add +5 minus 2, that is +3, which is also perfect because I need it to be +3 when I add these two numbers. So these are my factors, +5 and -2. So if I need to write this factorization, I will write x plus 5 times x minus 2. So this is the factorization for this expression. So now, this expression was equal to 0. This was an equation, so this is equal to 0. Now, look what's happening here. I have this expression that is multiplied to this other expression, and that multiplication is equal to 0. So what's happening here? I'm going to write here A times B. If I have the multiplication of two expressions or two numbers, whatever, the only way that I get 0 as an answer is either that A is 0 or B is 0. So using this, I'm going to find my answer. This one first. If this multiplication is equal to 0, is either because x plus 5 is equal to 0 or x minus 2 is equal to 0. Okay, so now I have these two new very small equations that if I solve for x on each case, I will find my two answers that are needed. So for the first equation, I need to get rid of this +5. So for that, I'm going to subtract 5 on both sides. And that cancels that. And I get that x is equal to -5. I am going to call this answer x1. So for the second small equation that I have, I need to get rid of the -2. So I add 2 on both sides. That cancels the 2, and I have that x is equal to positive 2. I'm going to call this one x2. And here are my two solutions. It doesn't matter which one I call x1 or which one I call x2. So these are the solutions of my equation. They're also called roots. So this exact same problem, same equation equal to 0, we're going to solve it, but this time using the formula so that you can decide which one do you rather work with, factorization or the formula. So here is the formula for solving the quadratic equation. Here is your x is equal to, and you can see minus b. This plus and minus is where your two answers are going to come from. Okay, and then the formula continues. So as you can see, to be able to use this formula, you need to know what b, a, and c are equal to. So let's see on my equation which are a, b, and c. So a will always be the number here that is multiplying the x squared, which in this case I don't see any number here, so that means it's a 1. For b, b will always be the number that is multiplying the x, okay? Which in this case is the 3. If it was a negative 3, your b would be negative 3, but in this case it's a positive 3. And c will always be the number that it's by itself, that is not multiplying the x or the x squared, which is negative 10, not just 10, it's a negative 10, okay? So let me write that down. A is equal to 1, B is equal to 3, and C is equal to 10. So now I'm going to plug in these values in my formula. X is equal to minus B, but B is 3, plus and minus. Then I have B squared. B is 3, so 3 squared minus 4 times A, which is 1, times C, which is, it was a negative 10. Negative 10. I forgot to write the negative here, so I wrote it just now. So, and all of this divided by 2A, but A is 1, so 2 times 1. So I'm going to solve what's inside the root first. So everything else, I'm going to write it. So minus 3 plus and minus square root of. Okay, I have here 3 squared, which is 9. But then I have this multiplication here. Negative 4 times 1 times negative 10. Multiplication goes first. So I need to do this multiplication first. So instead of 3 squared, I'm just going to write 9. The sign that is going to come after the 9, it will depend on what I get from this big multiplication that I have here. So let's do negative 4 times 1. That would be negative 4, right? So now I have a negative 4 times negative 10. A negative times a negative is a positive, and 4 times 10 is 40. So that will be plus 40. And then on the denominator of the fraction, I have 2 times 1, so that is just 2. So let's keep on solving this. I have a negative 3, then plus and minus square root of 9 plus 40, that would be 49 over 2. So now we're going to solve the square root of 49. So this is negative 3 plus and minus square root of 49 is 7. 49 is a perfect square number. 7 to the power of 2 is 49. So divided by 2. At this point is where I'm ready with this plus and minus to get my two answers. The first one, I'm going to do it using the positive sign. And the second, x2, my second answer solution, I will get it using the negative sign. So here we go. X1 will be negative 3. I'm going to use the plus 7 divided by 2. And my x2, will be negative 3, and this time I'm going to use the negative sign here. So minus 7 divided by 2. Negative 3 plus 7, that would be 4 divided by 2, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. So as you can see, my x1 is equal to 2. I'm going to write it here on top. X1 is equal to 2. Let's go to x2. I have here x2 is equal to negative 3 minus 7. That would be negative 10. Same sign. I need to add and keep the sign. Divided by 2. And 10 divided by 2 is 5. And a negative divided by a positive, it's a negative. So my x2 is equal to negative 5. Of course, exactly the same answer I got with the factorization. And you can decide which of the two ways works better for you. Okay, so that was it. I hope this video helps you. And if you like it, please hit the like button. And that's it for today. Bye.